On September 18th, 1380, Charles V had died under strange circumstances, in the eyes of the written record at least.
I think he died because his heart stopped.
Well, we know that he suffered a draining fistula, which is a fun time, for 23 years before he died at the age of 42. So that probably had something to do with it.
A draining fistula?
Yeah, I even found a medical publication on it.
Oh, what the heck is a fistula?
It's like I looked it up. I'm trying to remember. It's like a pus-filled thing. I don't know. Yeah, look it up. It's gross.
Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes on the DaveSimpsonFire.com.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is very rectal.
It's a good time. Imagine having that for 23 years. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Day's Dumpster Fire. As always, I am Kara, and as always, with me is Ed, my co-host. How you doing, buddy?
I'm so glad you're back.
I'm back. With an episode, which is crazy.
It has been, it has been weeks of trying to write my own episodes and then record it and then edit it and then get it out and then trying to update the website that I don't know anything about. It's just okay, I'm handing the baby over back to mom.
You did good.
Yeah, I know. It was actually a lot of fun. And it was one of those things where I got to learn a lot, see aspects of the show that I normally don't get involved with. So, yeah, hopefully you guys haven't left the show after my episode last go around on the Great Train Wreck of 1918. That was my first foray into doing something by myself. And I think, Kara, you're commenting yeah, you were super nervous in the beginning.
You settled in though, but yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's just weird sitting in your office talking to a computer screen without medications. And yeah. I literally had to put a picture of a classroom on my computer screen so it looked like I was talking to a bunch of students. And then once I did that, it was easy.
There you go. See, understandable. So, but yes, I'm glad I'm back. That was bad.
Sarah,
Deja,
what kind of vacation? Talk about getting sunburned.
Jesus. Odin, help me. I'm back. I wrote an episode that I have been promising you guys for weeks.
Months.
Has it been months?
Well, yeah, because you think about it, because you did Prohibition, you've done Dust Bowl, you've done Great Depression, and then I did the Bat Bomb thing. Seriously, guys, listen to the past, I don't know what, 8-9 episodes. We've pretty much took care of 1900 to 1945 in its entirety.
Have covered the interwar period plus a little bit of World War II.
Yes.
In American history, at least. And some European history.
Yeah. We kind of dip a little bit and then we pick up in Vietnam.
Yeah, we're doing great. So there are some gaps. We'll fill them. But before we do that, I'm going to take you to medieval France because we have not done a Middle Ages episode in a hot minute. And
it's going to be really exciting because you and French words are chef's kiss, man. They are, you get along great with French words.
I do. That's exactly what I was going to say. Actually, I was going to make the same joke and you beat me to it. So here we are.
Yes, we're talking about burning balls. No, burning men.
Both. So I found this little lovely event in a book that was gifted to me. And it was only a paragraph long. And I was like, I need to find out what this is because this sounds horrible. and it's wonderful in a horrible way. I don't know if that makes sense, but we're going to find out.
Well, the further back you go in history, the more horrible something could be and still be funny.
Yes, if it's presented in the right way, which I hope I did. So let's find out, I guess. We're going to talk about the Ball of Burning Men. Happened in 1393.
There's a lot going on there.
You're welcome. All right. Let's just dive in. Let's get started. Well, Burning Man, have you ever thrown a party or a get-together that you were looking forward to after a tough week just for it to get canceled, or maybe nobody shows up?
Yes.
Or, yeah. Or like maybe the plans that you were looking forward to after feeling super down in the dumps just to go up in flames, and now you're stuck at home staring at your phone like a zombie?
Well, okay, let me talk to you about getting old, okay?
I'm talking to everybody, by the way.
Yeah, I know these are
okay.
rhetorical, but like this struck a chord with me because like when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I would put like I would think about some big get together or whatever, and it would fall through at the last minute, I would be absolutely devastated. Like, like dang, I was really hoping that this would have been like a really cool like game night or whatever. But then as I've gotten older and stuff like this falls through, I'm like, cool. All right. I get to go to bed early.
Understandable.
Like as you get older, you become more and more cool with social events falling apart because you can go sit on the toilet for 3 hours doom scrolling if you want.
Sure.
You can't
For me, it depends on.
but...
Oh God. For me, it depends on the social event. If I wanted to go, then yeah, I'll be disappointed. If I didn't want to go, but I told people I was going to go, so I have to go, and then it falls through and it wasn't my fault, then great.
But as you get older, then it's like, even if it is your fault, you're like, cool, I got a good excuse.
I haven't hit that yet.
No.
I think my husband has, but that's okay.
Yeah. I can see Gabe being on board with that.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Charles VI of France. He has a reputation. So he is also known as the Mad King. His reputation in history is the crazy or insane king.
Very.
But really, I just find his story really sad.
It's very Game of Thronesy.
The Mad King, yes, that's probably where George R. R. Martin got the name from.
Yeah, got some inspiration. Yeah. If you'll ever finish a book.
Yeah, well, in a time where mental health was not understood and madness was something taboo caused by evil magic or poison or whatever, Charles VI appeared to have struggled with severe mental illness, and historians and doctors still debate what those were to this day. We may never know what those were, but what we can say is that he and many others likely struggled with mental health problems to varying degrees. He's just one of the most famous ones because he was a king. With that said, the king did enjoy kingly things: hunting, parties, weddings.
Well, what comes after the wedding is probably what they were paying more attention to.
Possibly, but the weddings could be fun.
A lot of food, yeah.
Yeah, see? And he did do some good for France early in his reign. His wife seemed to genuinely care for him, which is kind of weird for a medieval marriage. Go him. Yay for them.
Yeah, it's more like a business contract that like very rarely is it ever like any sort of affection between king and queen. It's just
right.
Yeah, to me that would just be cringy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And at the very least, guys, he was not a French peasant, I guess. But
okay.
Fine. He was a king. Like, he's got that going for him.
He was a dauphin.
Dauphin, yeah.
Yep, which is French for dolphin and king.
I like it.
Yeah.
Cool. Even kings and queens struggle, though. Even kings and queens can throw a party that goes entirely up in flames. So, chapter 1, the beloved. We're going to talk about the Mad King here for a little bit. Charles VI was born on December 3rd, 1368 in Paris, France, in the midst of the 100 Years' War, which I could probably do an episode on one day. A struggle of succession over land and power between England and France. The war would last from 1337 to 1453, and with brief periods of peace breaking up the fighting. His mother was Queen Joanna of Bourbon, whatever. French, my favorite.
Or if you're American, you can just say bourbon.
Bourbon, like the drink.
Yeah, Queen Joanna Bourbon.
Oh, jeez. And his father was Charles V, or Charles the Wise, as he was known to the people of France. Charles V was a very capable king during wartime. He was successful in gaining back a majority of French land in 1360 after they had lost it all to the British early in the war, blah, blah, blah. On September 18th, 1380, Charles V had died under strange circumstances, in the eyes of the written record at least.
I think he died because his heart stopped.
Well, we know that he suffered a draining fistula, which is a fun time, for 23 years before he died at the age of 42. So that probably had something to do with it.
A draining fistula?
Yeah. I even found a medical publication on it.
Oh. What the heck is a fistula?
It's like I looked it up. I'm trying to remember. It's like a pus-filled thing. I don't know. Yeah, look it up. It's gross.
Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes on the DaveSimpsonFire.com.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is very rectal.
It's a good time. Imagine having that for 23 years. Supposedly.
Yeah. I mean, he was 45. Oh, you can even have them in your teeth.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah. It's like an abscess. Like a root canal.
Isn't it weird?
Don't look up videos, guys.
No, that's gross. Anyway, so people, some believe that's what caused it. Others believe that he could have been poisoned or like he had a hit put on him or whatever. So the causes of his death are actually still being researched. I can't speak to what actually killed him. But yeah, September 18th. And our king-to-be was 11 at the time. So on his deathbed, Charles V summoned all of his brothers, the Dukes of Anjou, Berry, Burgundy, and Bourbon, and told them to be his 11-year-old son's regency after he died until Charles VI was old enough to rule. In other words, what a regency is, if you don't know, is somebody who runs the kingdom until you are able or fit to do so.
King, I think it's Chancellor, what's his name? Denethor from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So he was he was like not the king, but he was the guy that was kind of in charge until the true king would, or until Aragorn made his presence.
Yep, that's a regent.
Yep.
So during their regency, the king's uncles had their way with the kingdom, looking for personal enrichment over the people of France. Ousted or minimized what they did. Sorry, I just started reading a bullet point list. It's boring. Sorry. What they did was they ousted or minimized the roles of the advisors of Charles V. So they were like, these guys who actually did kind of a good job, they suck because they actually want us to do our job. And instead, they appointed their own supporters in their own political roles. That way they can keep lining their pockets. They also reimposed unpopular tax policies that Charles V had done away with. And this caused a few peasants' rebellions. There was a big one in 1382, and some smaller revolts that happened throughout Paris. So that's a fun time. And then on top of that, they refused to hand over power to Charles VI. And we're not sure why. It's an easy thing to assume that it was because the uncles didn't want to give him power, but Charles VI did not take power for 6 years after he was of legal age. So when he turned 14, he was supposed to get the rule of the kingdom, which still sounds really young. That's crazy.
God, could you imagine running an entire kingdom or a country at the age of 14?
No, that's crazy. But here we are.
I'm 40 something. And I don't even feel comfortable doing that.
I know. It's wild. Middle Ages. Ugh. I love it. Finally, in 1388, Charles took control of France. He was 20 years old.
Okay. It's a bit more reasonable.
Yeah. His uncles withdrew back to their duchies. He reinstated his father's former advisors. Thank goodness. And he began to clean up the mess of corruption that his uncles had put into place. Conditions in France began to improve and the people noticed. Eventually, he was deemed the well-beloved in his early years as king. So he did a pretty good job.
I just like how you spelled duchies.
You like that?
Yeah, without the T, it's douchies.
Yeah. That's Thanks, spell check.
I just put the T in.
All right.
No more douchies for you.
No, sir. Chapter 2, Madness. Here it comes.
Caligula all over again.
I don't know. I feel worse for him than I did Caligula.
Really?
Yeah, but that might just be because of the difference in source material. So, like, for this person, we have a lot more. Well, we have more information.
Yeah.
That
survived.
We can attest to or survived as opposed to Caligula because of the time difference.
Yeah. We did have an episode on Caligula.
We sure did. I did that one.
We'll have that linked in the show notes.
Yeah. Arguably, Charles VI is known most for his bouts of psychosis that plagued him for most of his life. And at the time, they were referred to as madness. So people living at the time period like, oh, he's just mad, which that's an outdated term. Don't use
well,
that.
and at the time, they like the medical scene was more or less like, you know, one of the four elements is out on the body. Like you had too much bile.
Or too much. What is the other stuff?
I can't remember
bile,
the four.
Blood. I don't remember the other two.
But they would say like your body was a balance of these four things, and if one of them was more than the other, then they could kind of figure out like, oh, this is what we need to do. Like that's why bleeding was kind of a thing for a long time. Yeah. And I think they've actually kind of noticed that like the bleeding thing wasn't that harebrained of an idea.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say like they like, especially with infections and stuff like that, like you crack that puppy open, man, you get that bacteria out.
Yeah. I think with a lot of
fermenting,
right. With a lot of things in this time period, it sounds super crazy and wacky to us because of all of our modern medicine and such. But really, if you get down to it and you start to put yourself in their shoes, some of it actually makes logical sense. Like I can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. I don't blame them one bit.
Yeah. So the symptoms recorded throughout his life included fever, fainting, dizziness, seizures, confusion, delusions, including the belief that he was made of glass, which came after the events of today's episode. However, I am going to note the glass thing real quick because it is the thing that he's most famous for. Charles VI was not the only person of this period who struggled with believing his body was made of glass. He's certainly the most famous, but he's not the only one. Supposedly, his anxiety went so far as he had iron rods sewn into his clothing to avoid shattering his body in case he bumped into anything. That one is debated, but I thought it was interesting enough to put in here. But just know that we're still arguing about that.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We haven't found any of his clothing that would have that in there, but
correct.
But it's one of those things that is believable. Like it would not surprise me if that actually happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't have hard evidence for it, but I could see it. There is an instance of another man who thought his butt was made of glass and it would shatter if he sat down. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think his dad, with the anal fistulas, he probably should have heeded that.
I mean, this was a different dude. It wasn't Charles.
I know. I'm talking about our king's father here.
I see.
Charles V.
So the butt exploding, you think that came from?
I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, why not? Like, I like if you watch a dude actually die from uncontrollable rectal hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
That may put an image in your head that I'm unfortunately just put in all of your heads.
You sure did. Also, this butt thing had nothing to do with the king, but it was. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Hey, it's all about butts, man.
That's what I'm saying.
There's something about humanity and butts. If something goes horribly awry and there's a butt involved, that's a good time.
Yes. Now, I will say this illness can probably be a whole episode in its own right, and I went down a really deep rabbit hole on it. It's fascinating and very interesting, and there is research out there that you can find. However, for our purposes here, we just need to know that it's part of the king's story later in life after this event. It's fine. But yes, go down the rabbit hole if you wish. If you want resources for it, I will put them on the website or give them to you if you ask, whichever comes first.
Or go down the butthole or rabbit hole.
I'm going to stick with rabbit hole. Well, it's not possible to diagnose him after all these years. Many have speculated numerous possibilities. Some have said bipolar disorder, some schizophrenia, porphyria. There's more suggestions, but we just don't know, and we may never know because it's one of those things where you can't diagnose somebody who lived hundreds of years ago. There's no way.
Well, yeah, and you look at these symptoms, right? Fever, right? If he's having chronic fevers, that's like an infection. It almost looks like he had like reoccurring meningitis, which is like an infection of the spinal column or the like infection around the brain. I mean, fainting, dizziness, seizures, confusion, delusions. That I have no idea what. I don't think it was one disease. I think it could have been a mixture of diseases. Heavy metal poisoning can cause stuff like that.
I don't know. Scholars don't know.
Yeah, this guy's checking all the boxes.
Yeah, it's crazy. There was also a couple medical journals trying to figure it out as well that you can find the National Health Organization website. You're welcome.
It seems like he's the kind of guy that goes into the doctor's office, right? You know, when you go to the doctor's office and you got to fill out that forms, like your medical history. This dude is like literally checking every single box on there. Like he is the history of medical issues.
Yes. And what I found really interesting is when I was doing like my very broad start your journey research, I was listening to a podcast about him and they were saying, and I should have done more research on this because I do find it interesting. I just didn't have time. But they were saying that his mother suffered from similar bouts of psychosis and his grandfather suffered from similar bouts of psychosis. So some people think it's a hereditary thing. But like I said, we just don't know. And we don't ever know. But yeah, it's interesting. The king's first instance of psychosis or madness was in August of 1392 while traveling with his army in a forest near Le Mans in France. And I believe that is also the location of the racetrack, the famous racetrack. So just Google that. There's a forest somewhere. There you go.
Ford versus Ferrari. That movie is based around the Le Mans race.
That one. And then there was one that came out a couple years ago. What is it? It was based on the video game.
Oh, I thought that was Forza or... Yeah,
I think it was Forza. And there was Le Mans was a big deal in that movie as well.
Yeah, they recruited that kid that was like, he played racing games. It's based on a true story, apparently.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good movie. Anyway.
Yeah.
While traveling, the king, who at this time was in his 20s, was traveling on horseback through the forest. And they were moving along, with his army. They just, I'm trying to remember what they were doing out there.
Kingly soldiery thingies. Something to do with the war. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It was definitely something to do with the war and somebody who they thought was a traitor, something like that. I don't know. Not that important. They're walking. It's hot. It's August. The men began to notice that he had been mumbling to himself. Some sources note that his words were not very kingly, we'll say.
Okay.
If you catch my drift. Then, as they were walking, they went through a colony of lepers. And lepers are, if you don't know, people who are suffering from leprosy. Today, that's called Hansen's disease. Usually, at this time period, people who had that disease were ousted by the communities because they were scared that they would get sick of the illness. And there's a lot of superstition surrounding it. At the time, it's a whole thing. Again, we could probably do an episode on it. One man, who is described to be barefoot, dressed in rags, suddenly approached the king and grabbed his horse's bridles while saying something at the same time. He was like talking to the king, like trying to get his attention, right? Something along the lines of, the king's men are betraying him and he needs to go and all of this stuff. And he said he was able to get all this stuff out before he was pulled away by the surrounding knights.
Oh, good. A delusional king being told by some weird homeless man that his knights are like screwing him over.
Correct.
Good. That won't have any negative consequences at all.
Walking in full armor in the August heat.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Now, despite the knight's efforts, the man reportedly followed the army for the better part of an hour or so ish, shouting about betrayal the whole time. So he's like following off to the side, just yelling at him. Crazy.
Yeah, it's like a scene from a movie where you just got some guy in the background yelling for like the entire scene.
Yeah. And this went on for like an hour.
Oh, jeez.
Terrible. Anyway, we do need to be careful of our source material here. I got this from one of the primary sources that you can find for this incident. I'm going to try, guys. It's French. The Chronicles of Froissart. Froissart. That's how you spell it. If you want to find it, I have links. They're in the footnotes, in the show notes. But yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, it's in the show notes.
Francois?
Yeah, so it would be Froissart.
Yeah, that's it. That guy.
Froissart, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the main primary sources we have for this incident.
Yep.
Go read it. It is translated into English. I have a link in here in the footnotes that you can go and find it. It's great. It's awesome. Anyway, we do need to be careful of the source material. It implies that the man did this because he was a leper. It's impossible to prove, just like the king's madness is impossible to prove. But also, leprosy can cause nerve damage and severe physical deformities. I'm no doctor, but it may not have much to do with the man's mental state. I'm just throwing it out there, my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with it. Like America had a leper colony in Hawaii. It was like the last leper colony in American history. But yeah, it literally causes, it's like a bacterial infection that literally causes usually like your fingers and your toes to like essentially die
and you can't feel it
fall off.
Yeah, and you can't feel it on your nerves, so you barely notice.
That's like the first sign of it is like your fingers and toes like start going numb.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it in its more advanced stage, it like you literally have body parts that just fall off. And I want to say that there was a degree upon which like it could affect mental states, but yeah, don't quote me on that. But I don't know, if I saw my arm fall off and it not hurt, I would probably be in a really weird mental state.
That's a fair point, but it doesn't mean it was caused by the disease.
No, that would be a side effect of the disease. Like you would still be in a weird mental state if your arm fell off if you didn't have a leprosy.
Yeah, exactly. I know we're into semantics in the weeds, but
it's a bad deal.
It's a bad deal. Anyway, that should have been the end of it, right? Like, okay, the guy's done. He's gone now. We're going to keep walking. And it would have been unnerving, maybe spike some anxiety. I understand that. But I don't think it warrants the beloved king's response.
Oh, gosh.
At some point, a squire dropped a lance he was carrying, and it landed on a helmet, which made a really loud clanging sound. Ding. Sound must have startled the king because he immediately jumped in his saddle and yelled, Forward, and set on! God and Saint Denis, set upon these traitors who would sell us!" Meaning, run away, we are being betrayed. Essentially, is what he's yelling about. And with that, he rushed into the crowd of knights behind him, brandishing a sword, swinging it on both sides on his horse, and attacking anybody within reach, believing they were all traitors.
Okay.
I think at some point he fell off the horse or got off the horse. At some point, he's off the horse. The source doesn't really say, but go with it. It's fine.
Yeah, because imagine being one of those knights. Like, what do you do? Do you defend yourself? Like,
yeah, like,
are you allowed to defend yourself when the king's attacking you for like no reason? Like,
that's a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, there's not a lot of case law at this time that would help navigate.
Yeah.
These uncertain times.
Exactly. And as you point out, and as you can imagine, chaos ensued with men dispersing like cockroaches in the sunlight, trying to find ways to disarm the king without dying or just running away because they didn't know what else to do. Fair. One of the king's chamberlains managed to grab the king from behind. His sword was wrestled away while he was being held, and finally he calmed down enough for the men to lay him down on the grass. And at the end of it, by the time it was done, the king killed several of his own knights. And he found himself being carried back to Le Mans out of the forest before slipping into a coma. His first symptoms of psychosis, there it is.
Could you imagine being the knight coming home and your wife's like, "Hey, honey, how was work?"
Well, my boss tried to kill us today.
Yeah. Yeah, he got like 4 of them before we subdued the king. Like,
and then he just like fell asleep for a long time. I don't know. It was wild.
Yeah. Right. That's where you're just like, hey, we still good for game night Saturday night?
I need a drink, but
I need a drink, and we're gonna put this in our tonight's session of D&D. Like,
yeah, like I need to escape for a little bit because that's crazy.
Yeah.
The king was in a coma for 4 days. During that time, the door remained ajar to tell people he wasn't dead, and the rumor mill was in full swing. Some people blamed poison, some called it magic, and some said it was madness, all the things that you'd expect. When he woke up, he chose to rest at his castle in Cray, something like that. Help me out. It's like 5 letters and I'm struggling.
Boy, that's an old French word. I think it would just be like, boy, I'm not sure.
All right, we're just gonna wing it.
Srail?
Sure.
How to pronounce Criel in French? Let's see here. Okay, Criel.
Okay, cool. I was not far off. Neither were you. All right.
No, that's pretty good.
Okay, cool. So he took rest at his castle in Creil in the country. Well, one of his uncles, the Duke of Burgundy, took regency. Charles would return to Paris and to business before the 1st of January in 1393. His doctors warned him, as doctors do, to take it easy and avoid stress for fear of another mental breakdown. So we are back in Paris in the castle, and he's supposed to go back to work, but everybody's a little bit nervous. We're hoping that maybe we can distract him, give him some fun things to do, not worry about the war for a little bit, right? Like, let's try to keep this guy calm so he doesn't kill a bunch of our knights, right?
I'm sorry, like, whenever you tell somebody, okay, I'm prescribing rest, relaxation, and no stress, that never works out right. Like, whenever I'm being told by a doctor, like, make sure you take it easy and get some rest and all that stuff, like, the following ensuing days are like the most stressful of my life. Like, everything is conspiring to make life super stressful.
Well, if you think your life was super stressful, wait till you find out about this party. Chapter 3. The ball that you've all been waiting for, the one where the men burn. In January of 1393, the king's wife, Queen Isabeau, wanted to cheer up her husband and provide a distraction from the overwhelming stresses the king was facing, such as the 100 Years' War, tax revolts, probably some hunger because it's France, and also at this time, I think there was a plague happening, if my timeline is correct. So there's that.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of all the plagues at this time.
It's a lot. I think we're coming up on the Black Plague, the big one. So,
yeah,
it's fine. We're doing great. So she decided they would plan and host a masquerade wedding for one of her ladies in waiting. Her name was Catherine de Fastaverin. We're going to go with that. She was to be married to one of the men of the court. And this one was extra special because it was her 3rd marriage. This occasion was one of revelry, merrymaking, and fart jokes. We love a good fart joke. In medieval France,
we're all about their fart jokes.
Yes, they love fart jokes. It's
and
wonderful.
3rd marriages and whatnot.
It's a party.
Yeah, I don't want to say cavalier, but the French, compared to say like Britain at this time, was a little more easygoing with the humor and marriages and stuff like that.
Yeah. In medieval France, the tradition of the 2nd or 3rd marriage was not holy matrimony, fancy ceremony, and respectful dancing. No. It was food, dancing, music, and a lot of jokes at the expense of the bride and the groom. Likely, it was mostly the bride. Let's be real. It was
like a roast.
It was a roast. That's exactly it. The wedding was treated almost like a charivari. Do you know what that is? A charivari?
Charivari?
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with that one either.
Wonderful. Okay, good. So, what is that? I'm glad you asked. The term usually references something along the lines of noisy music. Think like a parade of people banging pots and pans and blowing horns, singing loudly and badly, stuff like that. Like super, just, ugh.
So it's like an elementary school band concert.
Yes, with really loud singing.
Yeah, like the singing is just way out of pitch. And then my daughter's school had like the trash can drum line where they banged on trash cans, and I still have the ringing in my ears from those days.
Yes. So a charivari was a common practice in Europe and in North America. It was brought to the States. Well, it was brought to the continent as a way to enforce moral practices and deter immoral ones. The demonstration or sometimes a parade would be a representation of how unhappy people were with the marriage taking place. So a lot of times you'd see people like yelling or singing loudly and banging things and making loud noises like in the direction of the person it was focused on. A lot of the times they do it like early in the morning on that by the house, stuff like that. I found this fascinating, by the way. It was great.
There's a lot going on here.
It's a lot, but it's fun. No, not really, but it's fun for us to read about. It was common among the lowest classes, though it would be practiced among those at court as well. I think for our circumstances, Isabeau's party was mostly inspired by a charivari, but not a true one. I'm speculating. I don't really know. There may be evidence to suggest otherwise, but that's what I think. Now, the food, because food. I did not find a menu list for the night of the ball. However, I did find a book written for the aristocracy in France in 1393 about taking care of your husband. I know, but it does have some recipes in there that could be of interest, including a wedding menu. I'd say that's close. It's close enough. It's called The Goodman of Paris or The Good Wife's Guide. It's a good time.
Wow.
I know.
Well,
that's why I was like, I know.
Yeah, this is right up your alley, Kara. I know how much you're all about studying how women are supposed to work for husbands, and
we need to understand where we came from to know where we are and where we're going.
Well, what's sad, not to go on another tangent here, but what's sad is like in the 60s, your husband may work for a big company, and if he was high enough up in the management staff, the wife would have to attend courses on how to host a party, how to behave around like executives, how to communicate with these people. Like she would have to take courses on how to best support her husband in her own home in like a big get together.
It's correct. If you ever want to know where the debutante balls came from, that's part of it. Also, it was a big thing in the 50s and the 60s, and then it kind of exploded and died when women were like, no more of this when we get to the late 60s and the early 70s.
Yeah, especially when women are like, why do I even have to, why don't I just become the executive?
Exactly. Anyway, that's a tangent.
Yeah.
Just know that this book had some cool recipes in there that I thought would be useful to know what everybody was maybe having for dinner. The entree was roast lamb, Gosling, which is geese, not the actor. Chicken with sauces, including orange, and I don't know what these two things are, but cameline and verjuice.
Verjuice. I think it's like a fruit.
This sounds right. Fruit sauces with poultry of sorts. Anyway.
Brutalized fruit.
Yeah, we'll go with that. The sides or appetizers involved pie of 2 rabbits and 2 peacocks, crayfish, rabbit, loach. I'm guessing that's like a fish, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
And pig. And then this one's really fun. Lamb organ jelly.
Okay.
Dish situation with white bread. The dessert, depending on what's in season, apple, cheese, wafers, venison, and frumenti. And lots of wine. I don't know. I don't know what that is either, but it was there. And lots of wine. Now, I don't know about you, but I would really want a vegetable at that point. But those are for poor people, so whatever.
Yeah, it's funny how like the things that were actually really, really, really good for you were for the poor people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just funny how, and like if you were a duke or if you're high enough up, like the act of eating a chicken and it was boiled chicken. It had to be as white boiled meat as possible because you were advertising to everybody that I have the money and the ability to eat an animal that produces food. It's like, so what you ate is what you told society how much you were worth. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, but all the vegetables, all the boring stuff, that's for the peasants, even though that's like way healthier for them.
Yeah, but I don't know. I would want a vegetable because that's a lot. Now, just imagine walking into the ballroom at court, decorated with tapestries. It's beautiful. You hear music that isn't great, but it's fine. You smell food that a medieval person at court would probably consider great. And people are all dressed up. They've got masks on. There's dancing, merrymaking. The king seems super excited and happy. Yay. And all is well. Wonderful. We're doing great. There are two primary resources for the events of the ball. One written in Latin by a monk that I could not find easily with a translation, which is sad for everybody. And the other is called the one that I mentioned earlier, the Froissart's Chronicles. Yeah, those ones.
Froissart.
That's it. Those chronicles are available with English translations, and they were created with illuminated manuscripts. That means that there are at least one or two lovely pieces of art that go along with the rest of this story. They're in there. You can find them. You can even Google it. It's great. So please look it up later. Anyway, now enter this man's name. Enter this guy, Hugonin de Ginsey.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. I'm going to call him Hugo.
Yeah, it would be... So you actually wouldn't pronounce the I-N. It would be like... And you wouldn't even pronounce the H. It would be like Ugoni.
Okay.
And then it would be like Jonse. So, cool. Ugona de Jonse.
That's it. This is the name that I copy-pasted from the primary source, as you can see. I'm going to call him Hugo for my benefit.
Yeah.
One of the king's esquires. He had a reputation for mischief, pranks, and debauchery. Good for him. He had a grand idea. Great idea, this guy. That was meant to bring fun and thrill to the king and the ladies and the wedding guests. The wedding was set before Candlemas Day, right? And what that is, it's a Christian celebration of light with lots of candles. Ironic. Candlemas Day is tied to what we know as Groundhog Day, which I thought was really interesting, and the animal's connection to spring and winter. So, Fun fact. Yeah. Hugo thought it would be fun to dress up him and 5 of his best friends in costumes to make themselves look like wood savages or wild men from European folklore. Basically, what these are, they're mythical creatures, and they're often depicted as being covered in hair apart from the face, hands, feet, knees, and elbows. They were typically connected to the forest or the wilderness, not unlike satyrs in Greek mythology, or like Pan, the god Pan, something like that. They were said to be outside of the graces of God, and they dance by the firelight, and they summon evil spirits in the forest.
Sounds like Bigfoot.
Kinda like a smaller, more human European Bigfoot that summons demons.
Okay.
I also found an article on this particular mythology. Thought it was interesting. It's in the footnotes. Go check it out. The costumes made to look like wild men were actually very clever. They were made with linen, highly flammable, soaked in tree pitch, highly flammable, and also really sticky. It's like a resin made of tree sap. And then the linen, after it was nice and sticky and soaked in this resin, it was covered in frayed flax plant, like dried up flax. It almost looks like wheat, but it's not. Look it up so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's very fibrous.
Yeah, and when it's dried, it looks like hair. So they looked like wild men. And honestly, it's kind of cool. I in my head, it looks neat, but also kind of questionable. The dancers.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot going on there.
So much. The dancers were sewn into the costumes to make sure they wouldn't fall off during their dancing. And sources say they were also chained together somehow. So that's a good time.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, this is a disaster. Along with the bodysuits, masks were provided to the men who were invited to dance in this performance. And I'm going to really butcher some of these, so I'm going to apologize in advance. The dancers chosen for this piece of entertainment were the Count of Joigny.
Yeah, it'd be Joigny.
Joigny. He was a knight. Charles de Poitiers. I think he was also a knight. Sir Evan de Foix.
Okay.
He's cool. The son of Lord of Nantouillet.
Yeah.
Yeah, go me. All right. He's also a knight. And then our friend Hugo was another one. And the last one on our list of wild men was King Charles himself. So we've got the king and 5 noblemen sewn into costumes made of linen, flax, and tree sap, dancing around. What fun. It's a good time. The king is said to have been super stoked about this, really excited, saying something about having fun to a squire. That's written down, which is crazy. He must have been really excited. This little plan was a complete secret to the guests. Nobody knew except for the queen. She was very aware of this plan, It was a fun surprise for everybody else. This is great. Now, before the dance started, Sir Foy had the sense to say to the king, he says, quote, "Sire, command strictly that no one come near us with torches, for if a spark fall on the coats we are dressed in, the wax will instantly take fire, and we must inevitably be burnt. Take care, therefore, of what I say," unquote. Sir Foy, doing everybody a favor. We like him. Careful not to ruin the surprise, the king sent one of his men-at-arms guarding the door of the ballroom, ordering him to go to the room where the ladies are. Oh, sorry, this is quote. Ordering him to, quote, "Go to the room where the ladies are and command in the king's name that all the torches be placed on one side of it, and that no other person come near 6 savage men who are about to enter." He was really excited, guys. This is just the best day. This poor man. All right.
I feel like there's this is going to go sideways
really fast. Like a good soldier, the king's man did as he was told, and by the time the men dressed as wood savages entered the room, torchbearers were along a wall on the side of the room, and they kind of emptied it a little bit, so the room only held, quote, "ladies, damsels, and knights and squires," unquote. Okay, so to the delight of the guests, the men, when they came in, they danced around the room, howling and whooping and acting all wild and crazy. And then other people started dancing with them, trying to guess who they were. So that was kind of the name of the game, is guess who's behind the mask while we're all dancing and being crazy people. Whatever floats your boat, more power to you. It's cool. As this was all happening, the Duke of Orleans had arrived fashionably late, accompanied by 4 knights and 6 torches, ignorant of the king's orders moments before.
Oh, man.
Everyone in the room was so distracted by the men in highly flammable suits that they either didn't notice the torches in the room or they had completely forgotten about the order. We don't really know, but that's the guess. The Duke would look at all the dancing and the dancers, and then he joined. Good time. Friendly reminder, I want to throw this out there. The King of France, in the midst of the 100 Years' War, is currently sewn into a highly flammable costume, donning a mask, hiding his identity, and the Duke of Orleans shows up with a lit match. A very large lit match.
He's just chilling there with the Minecraft torch. Just
not knowing. To be fair, in his defense, he didn't know. As the dancing continued, the king separated himself from his companions, somehow, and made his way to the queen and the Duchess of Berry, who was 15 years old at the time and also Charles's aunt. Technically, she was his aunt by marriage, which explains the age gap, but don't worry too much about it. It's fine. #medieval things. She would not let him
medieval
leave.
Family math.
Yeah, it's fine. For now, I guess it's fine. Whatever. She would not let him leave her side until he revealed who he was, saying something along the lines of, quote, "You shall not escape thus, for I will know your name." So she was like, "You're staying here until you tell me who you are, because this is frustrating." At around midnight, while the king was chatting it up with the ladies, the Duke of Orleans was getting very curious about the men's identities. Without thinking, he held his torch close to one of the men's costumes and set him on fire.
Oh, man.
Whoosh, if you can imagine.
Yeah. Oh, right. Here we go. I still have this queued up.
Yeah. Perfect. Chapter 4. Fire.
I need to get one with like people screaming in the background.
No, that's worse. It's accurate, but it's so much worse. If you were unsure what flax, linen, or tree resin is, I highly encourage you to do a quick search online, interwebs, please. It shouldn't be too hard to find, and it shouldn't be too hard to find that they are all highly flammable. In fact, it should take you maybe like 30 seconds to read. This highly flammable substance is. Also, on top of that, fun fact, linen is made of flax, And the sticky resin acts almost like an oil or a grease when it catches fire. Think like tar, but on fire.
Or like napalm.
Or like napalm, which we have talked about a lot.
Or bat bombs, yeah.
Or bat bombs, or napalm bombs over the jungles of Vietnam.
Well, and I know like that tree resin, it's a very, very sticky substance, but they would use tree resin to make torches.
Yeah.
Because they can burn for a long time, so they would soak like cloth or rope in a tree resin. So then when you light it, it will burn kind of like a torch. You see in the movies how somehow those torches never burned out. They just went on and on and on. When a real torch would kind of maybe put itself out after about 5 minutes. But still.
That probably explains why they had so much of it laying around. They were able to soak linen in it to make sure the flax stuck to it.
Or like what would happen is like the torch would run out or like it would burn out. Then you would kind of like wrap some rope around it and then dip it in the in basically that pine tar or the tree resin and then relight it on fire, and then you're good for a little bit. It's kind of like changing the batteries on a flashlight.
Yeah.
Just medieval style.
I like that. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with. Instant chaos. But this time it wasn't fun party chaos. No. It was a scary and deadly chaos. Screaming, probably some running. I'd imagine how flammable those suits were. This all happened very fast.
Yeah.
Like up in flames immediately. Once the Duke, unintentionally, as far as we know, set one of our wild men on fire, the blaze grew so fast and so large that a majority of the knights and squires were unable to help at first. There is also a record that those who did try to help were burned themselves, and it was difficult for them because the flaming resin would stick to their hands. So people who were trying to help were then getting injured themselves. There is also a source, and this is the one that I mentioned before, the one that I was sad that I couldn't find. The source written by a Latin monk by the name of Saint Denis, who was a little bit more gory in his details.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to give you a warning now. It is gory. If you don't want to hear it, plug your ears for a minute. Skip by like 10 seconds. I personally, like I said, I had trouble finding it, but lucky for us, there have been others who were kind enough to paraphrase, describing the flaming genitals on the floor, releasing streams of blood. You're welcome.
That's a very specific
It is.
thing.
It is.
To mention, just like, the kitchen or the dining table's on fire, and this one lady's dress caught on fire. The curtains caught on fire. There's some twig and dingleberries on the floor. They're on fire. Then it's just... and they're squirting out blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Crazy.
Apparently it has its own heartbeat and its own blood supply. So it was just
written by a monk.
Yeah, it was like a super soaker filled with gasoline.
Yes. Nuts. Like a B movie. It's like Evil Dead.
Yes.
The queen, knowing full well that her husband was one of the men who were now on fire, fainted.
Ooh.
It's like a movie at this point. Everybody's on fire. There's panic. Everybody's screaming. The queen's fainting.
I think the fainting thing was kind of bogus. I think they actually, quote unquote, fainted so that there would be an excuse for them to just get out of there. Like,
maybe. I don't know. If the
situation was super awkward, they're like, I'm not hanging around here anymore. I'm out. Oh, what was me? And then back you go.
I don't know. Maybe that's just what the record said, so I'm going with it because I have no other record to prove otherwise. Yeah. So, while she was being tended to by her ladies in waiting, the Duchess, who was unknowingly speaking with the king anyway, shoved him under the train of her dress to protect him from the fire. The 15-year-old Duchess said something along the lines of, "Stop your squirming. Do you not see that your friends are on fire? Who are you? What is happening? This is ridiculous." And when the king revealed himself, the Duchess told him to get the hell out and find a safer room where he and his wife would be safe. I said safe twice in the same sentence, and that's where we're at. It's
okay.
Just
so
dumb.
Wait, shoved him under her train of her dress, so like that long trail of material that hangs. So
yep.
Okay.
So he is no longer chained to his buddies. He already has some separation, and she covered him up to try to protect them from the flames.
Okay.
While telling him, you need to leave, like get out.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, it sounds like while he was under there, he was kind of like,
well, he's trying
exploring the territory or something. Like,
no, he was trying to get out because he didn't understand why she was doing what she was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a situation I've never found myself in.
Right.
So
I hope not, considering her age.
Yeah. No body part of mine has ever been accused of being on the ground on fire.
That too. It's just chaos. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's a hot mess.
It's literally a hot mess.
Yeah.
So after he left into he found a different room somewhere. She found the queen to be awake after her fainting. She was able to tell her that the king was not dead, and he was waiting for her. Relieved, she was carried out of the room by a couple of night seer chambers. So the king and queen are okay. Yay, 15-year-old duchess, you're awesome. Thank you for saving the king's life. We all applaud you. Now, the knight from Nantuwe, there's lots of L's in it. I don't know. They found a way.
ILL. It makes like a y sound.
Okay.
So it would be Nantier.
Nantier. Cool.
Nantier. Yeah.
All right. So the knight from Nantier found a way to break the chain. I don't know how. While engulfed in flames.
Multitasker.
Yes.
Well done.
Well done. And he managed to remember where the cooking area was. After flailing about with some trial and error, he managed to find himself in a tub of water meant for doing dishes. It saved his life. He survived. Yay.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, good for that guy. He figured it out.
Yeah, talk about having the wherewithal to like you're on flames, and then he's a good multitasker. He kept his head about him.
Yeah, he needs to keep his job, that one.
And not get killed by the king for paranoid reasons.
Correct. The other 4 men were not so lucky. Our boy Sir Flois was reported to have been screaming, "Save the king!" as he himself was still burning alive.
Ugh.
I mean, good on him, I guess.
I don't
Doing
know.
his duty.
I guess, but if I'm on fire, I'm not saying save the king. I'm more like, put me the hell out. Like,
yeah. Then
go save the king. Like,
he was eventually put out, but he was in really rough shape. Alive, but suffering. The Count de Johnny still had a similar fate that night. Both men would be carried to separate rooms, and they died 2 days later. Hugo, the guy who organized this lovely dance and costumes, he died 3 days later of his injuries.
Ooh.
And then the last guy, Charles de Poitiers, he died in the fire that night.
And these aren't going to be pleasant deaths. Like, I don't think they had like,
yeah, no, that's really rough,
opium or anything like that back then. Because like today, if you've got super, super bad burns over a significant portion of your body, like you're on a morphine drip. Like, yeah, they're just going to give you the good drugs so you don't even have to think about it. These guys wouldn't have any of that. And oh man, like days later, those would be some long days.
Mm-hmm. It's rough.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. So now we're at chapter 5. Embers and Ashes. Word of the incident spread all over France. From what I read, most people were upset about the whole affair, which is understandable, considering their king almost needlessly died while France was at war and struggling to pay for it. The Duke of Orleans was blamed for the whole thing. He held himself accountable and claimed it was an accident. He donated a large sum of money to the Celestine Monastery that was being built at the time in a way to show penance to the church and the people. I mean, some people remembered, some people forgot, but I think overall, I don't know, some stuff happened to him later during the war. The Duke of Orleans is actually fairly interesting if you want to look at him.
Yeah, I can't remember much about him, but I definitely think like, yeah, he was pretty involved in the time period. His
reputation went downhill during the war, but that's a story for another time.
Well, he almost turned into human hash browns.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. The wedding was supposed to be a distraction for the king, to give him some joy after suffering from a mental health crisis. That plane went up in flames.
Oh, jeez.
You're welcome.
Up in smoke.
Up in smoke. In the following June, the king suffered another bout of psychosis. He forgot who he was. He didn't know he was the king. And when Isabeau approached him, it said that he was terrified of her. He retired to his chambers to recover for 6 months. A year and a half later, he would suffer another, where he believed he was a religious saint. Over the years, he would continue to have mental breaks, similar or shorter, while developing the glass delusions that became famous.
Jeez.
Yeah. When
that's
the king...
That's a rough way to live.
It's hard. It's hard. That's why in the beginning, I was like, I actually feel bad.
Yeah.
That's a tough way to go. When the king went into recovery, so after like a mental break, and then he had to recover for a long period of time, Queen Isabeau would be his regent at this point. And she actually held quite a lot of power because of it when she was alive.
Okay.
And then in 1420, Charles VI signed the Treaty of Troyes with England. He married his daughter to Henry V, placing him as regent of France, increasing the political tensions of the wars of succession between the two countries. So that treaty there is very famous in English history because it gave Henry V France, essentially, which was a big deal. And Henry V is supposed to be this like awesome, crazy king or whatever. But, you know, we're talking French perspective here. So for them, that's a bad deal.
Well, now, in this time period, it is so confusing to me because like the family trees get all convoluted and all these treaties. And then it seemed like every week there was a different war between England and France. It just, yeah, it is super hard to try to keep track of everything. It's almost like they had nothing else to do other than to like try to record stuff and make things way more complicated than what they needed to be.
Yeah. It had a lot to do with the monarchy system of government and the land and the resources and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, I may dig out my 100 Years War PowerPoint and just go off on this podcast.
Just do a whole episode on the 100 Years War. I know that's like one of your like favorite things to.
I do love it.
Look up.
Yeah, it's fun to read about. Well, the king died in 1422. By the time he died, he had suffered 44 mental breakdowns.
Ooh.
It seems that the wedding that was meant to cheer him up ended up in a burst of flames. So the next time you find yourself scrolling on your phone in the dark after the plans you were looking forward to had been canceled, maybe you dodged a blazing ball of fire by missing out on that costume party.
I mean, there's that and not having your genitals on the ground squirting blood and on fire.
And that's
a huge, no pun intended, that unto itself is a good outcome. Like,
I'm just saying, if your plans get canceled, it's okay. You might have dodged a medieval Evil Dead movie. That's
a medieval Evil Dead movie.
You're so welcome for that.
Nothing like a midnight pun type thing.
That's right. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, that's that really encapsulates the theme of the show.
It's got everything. It's got kings, it's got queens, it's got mental illness, and it's got fire. What else do you need?
Yeah, and that mental illness, man, that
it's rough.
It almost, because I had another thing that popped into my head. Like Julius Caesar, towards the end of his life, he had really, really bad seizures. Mm-hmm. And they think he may have caught like or contracted a venereal disease. But there's also the idea that he had a parasite, like a brain parasite.
Oh.
And I know those things can cause a lot of issues. You know, we have somebody in our government that had a brain parasite that is now in charge of the medical decisions being made by the government. But yeah, there is something about having a worm in your brain that really messes things up. And for me, what really sucks about all that is like that that Charles, the sixth guy, I mean, not to know, to wake up not knowing who you are or where you're at or why you are somewhere and all that, and then have the 44 mental breakdowns and whatnot.
Yeah,
that's
rough.
That's just a tough way to live.
It's rough.
So,
but yeah, that is the ball of burning men. So if you ever are asked at a fun party, hey, do you know any good stories? There's one.
Yeah. If you're at a party and like, hey, let me tell you how this party can go downhill real fast.
That's right.
Give me a handful of men that we can light on fire, and then we'll talk.
That's it. All right.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, no, that you bring up a good point there. It's maybe if your party that you had lined up fell through, that may not be a bad thing.
It's okay. We can relax a little bit. We'll get to the next one. But that is our episode for tonight. I do know that Ed here has some updates for the website, and he's super excited about it. So
you make it sound like I'm a little kid. Like I just got home from school with a gold star on my paper.
Sorry.
And you got to run around and tell everybody about it for like a week. So one of the things that I was doing while Kara was actually enjoying time off was I've been updating the website. So it probably doesn't have all the flashy artwork in it that Kara probably has in it, but I have managed to put in a MP3 or an episode player for each episode. I actually shouldn't say each episode. I've only gotten from like episode 74 to episode 47, I believe.
Like half.
Yeah, it's about half of it, or like a third of the way. But yeah, if you go to the website, thedaysoffire.com, and you look at our episodes tab up on the top, and you open that up, you will see a grid of all the essays. Yes, all of our essays that we have just sitting in there. All of our episodes. And you open up whatever episode you want. There should be a player at the top. And if you click on that, you can listen to each episode that way. I found out that not everybody is avid podcast listeners. Some of us, like myself, we have like a podcatcher that has, access to the full podcasting world. And that's what I mostly listen to. Other people are like, can I just get it up on YouTube and listen to it that way? Well, the answer is yeah, kind of. The nice thing is that when you access our episodes on our website, what you do is you listen to our show while you're at work, and as it's playing in one earbud or whatever headphone, you can just minimize the screen and it's still going to be playing. So there's a way to listen at work and not get caught. The other thing that is really nice about all of this is that we have show notes now that actually line up very closely with the recording. So you can actually like click through the show notes and it will actually jump you through all the different parts of the episode. And then probably what's even nicer on top of all that is if you are listening to our show via the website, you get no ads. So, like, for those of you who like to listen to our show on YouTube or whatever, that's cool. But the issue is that it seems like every like 2 minutes you have like 30 seconds of ads, or is it every 30 seconds of content you have 2 minutes of ads? I don't know. I find that like YouTube, if it's not paid for, is like unwatchable. It's because of all the ads. But if you listen to our show via our website, thedaysofffire.com, you don't have to worry about ads. So you get the full episode in all of its glory, plus the show notes, plus the articles that we try to attach to each episode, plus links to other episodes that kind of have a similar theme to that current episode. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Be sure to go over there, check it out. Let us know what you think. The other thing that we are working on is a way that you can help support the show without having to listen to ads or sign up for like beef boxes and about buying a mattress or all the typical ads that are out there. We wanted to really keep the show ad free, right? That's kind of like the heart of the show. It's kind of like the ads are funny because you can have like a show that is about like overcoming alcoholism, and then like the ad pops up about Jim Beam. It's like why that ad doesn't really fit with the show, so to speak. So Kara and I aren't huge proponents of filling the show full of ads, so we are holding off on that. But if you do want to support us, we are working on a way that if you go to our website, not only do you get our show ad free and you get our show notes and the articles and the artwork and all the other fun stuff, but you can also support us in any way you see fit. So it's a great way to really kind of like pay it forward. It's one of those things is we're real big on the value for value. So if you find the show entertaining or educational, if it makes you laugh, I guess if it makes you cry, I'm sorry about that episode, but hey, maybe it really helped you out. So if you find value in that, then yeah, you can help Kara and I out and support the show in your own way. That should be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So feel free to stop by there and check us out. We got some good stuff coming up on our website.
Cool. Well, I think we're all set. So yeah, check out the website. Look at all the new fun thingies that we've got going on, and then we'll see you in the next one, whatever that may be, because I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do next, because I had my 4 or 5 ideas, and that was been the past 4 or 5 episodes.
I have some ideas, so hopefully I can work them out.
Yeah, and if you out there in the audience, you have ideas, like send them in. Like you send us an idea and we use it on the show, we will give you a shout out for it. Like it's only fair. Like we would love to have you guys throw out your own ideas. We've gotten a couple of them like that, like the polar bear incident with William Barentz and stuff like that. That came from a listener. So like, yeah, send them in, and we'll try to do some research on it and get that out there. So
yep, you can do that by sending us an email at thedaysdumpsterfire.com, or there is actually a fun little form that you can fill out on the website as well. I think it's still on the homepage. If not, we'll put it back up. But with that, have an excellent night.
Yes.
And
I'm going to go cancel my party tomorrow.
Yes, cancel your parties. Bye.
Yeah. See you later. And don't let your genitals on fire. Put on,